Hey everybody, it's Dr. Hammerstedt from Wholist. So I am happy to be here today for a Medical Monday to talk to a female physician entrepreneur who is killing it and I've been dying to talk to for a while. Let me make sure that my guest requests are on. Perfect, there we are. So it is Lume Deodorant, y'all. I have been crazy talking about this deodorant for months, guys, and I know you've seen my posts on this. And I have Dr. Shannon Klingman on here, who's the CEO and founder and creator, to talk to us about this. And I'll let her tell you all about it, but basically it is the most free of anything even remotely controversial natural deodorant that I've heard of. And guess what? It actually works. And so I have tried like a million of these deodorants, and it basically these natural deodorants, and I feel like I just smell and I put a scent on me. But this one is up to 48 hours of protection. It's for men and it's for women and it's for armpits and it's for private parts, and who better to know than a gynecologist? And so I am really excited to welcome Dr. Klingman here. And I love having my Dr. Mama entrepreneurs on here, but especially stoked to talk to her. And one of the reasons why, there she is, all right, let's see, I'm gonna invite you in here, add, all right, she should be joining us here shortly. So one of the things that, that Wholist is doing is basically health and wellness products and services that are good for you and science-based. And there's so much bad information out there about health and wellness products, and some of that is because obviously people are trying to sell you things, but also just because nobody really does the work to figure out what works. And so hopefully that's what I'm doing here with Wholist, is bringing you kind of this information straight to you. And Lume is super exciting to me because of this. And hi there.
Hello.
How are you? Welcome.
I'm impressed that you were able to pull this off with me. The most technically unadvanced person in the world. So
we got you there, so it's good. So I was just talking a little bit about why Lume is just super exciting for me. As Wholist, I'm trying to curate together, health and wellness services and products and provide people with good information, because there's so much bad information out there. And so I'm really excited to have you join us. And so everybody, this is Dr. Klingman, and she is the CEO, founder, and creator of Lume Deodorant. And I have been reviewing, as you know, this everywhere that I see posted, because I just love it. I love talking about how it's been working for me, and I'm like telling random people in my gym locker room that they need to be using it. And so, so I'm starstruck.
There needs to be like a code for that.
Yeah.
Did you Lume today? Yeah,
exactly. Did you Lume today? I love it. So thanks for joining us. And so first, tell us about Lume and like what's in it and what's not in it.
Well, Lume is an all-natural deodorant. We're aluminum free, we're baking soda free, we're fragrance oil free, we're paraben preservative free. But the best part is that, even though we're free of all the ingredients that individuals are trying to avoid, we're the most effective natural deodorant that you can use anywhere on your body.
Awesome.
And so I'm really proud about, when we developed it, we weren't really thinking so much about avoiding certain ingredients. It just so ended up that we didn't need them in our formula at all.
Awesome. So yeah, I run, I ski, I bike. I've got 2 little kids. I run around, and it's like 48 hours. It really works. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And I always, like, when I'm telling all of my random gym locker room people about it, it's crazy to me that that this is the first natural deodorant that I've used that doesn't just put a scent over my smell, like it really works.
Right.
So how does it work?
Lume does, it's true.
How does it work, and why does it work so much better than all those other ones?
It's the science behind Lume. Our formula is very different from any other product on the market. And what we do, while other products will look at like end odors, like they'll say, we're going to tackle underarm odor. How do we neutralize that, effectively cover it up and make it less noticeable? What Lume does is we take it back down to the bacterial level, where we say, how is it that bacteria actually digest these bodily fluids? And we process. And so by doing that, we were able to develop a product that wasn't specific to just underarm odor or the way foot odor is formed or odor between our legs, that we actually inhibit the bacterial digestion of bodily fluids so you can be used anywhere on your body.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So it's really like getting at the problem. It's not, that's why it works so well. It's not just like covering it up. So it works for men and for women and for private parts. So tell us a little bit about that too.
So when I'm a gynecologist, so when I was in practice, which I noticed that women would complain of odor or bring odor up as a concern during times like as perimenopausal time in their life. There's certain changes that we all go through, or pregnancy, or if they have a new sexual partner, they would say, you know, I'm feeling a little bit funky below the belt and there's something, I think I maybe have an infection. And what I realized is that it's a very imperfect diagnosis, that women are subjected to time constraints. Doctors have about 15 minutes per patient, and they're coming in complaining of odor. You notice the characteristic odor as a doctor, and then all the other tests that we use to diagnose conditions like bacterial vaginosis are very subjective. You get false positives. And so when the patient's coming in with a concern, we want to remedy that. That's what we were trained to do, was to solve problems. We want them to feel like we're giving them something to address that concern. And what happens is doctors are overdiagnosing conditions that require antibiotics that women don't need.
Right.
And so that's really that was really the launching off point for me, was realizing that there's a big void in the market, and patients are being told that they have something they don't. And it's going to happen again, right? From time to time, we have concerns about body odors. And so I created a product to remedy that.
Yeah.
And then in working between our legs as a gynecologist, which was my objective, when we had it clinically tested, we realized that it's a superior underarm deodorant as well. And we are clinically proven to provide 48 hours of odor control, which is different from any other natural product on the market today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
it's also, I mean,
awesome.
as I'm sure that like there are a lot of women who are even afraid to bring up the fact that they're worried about odor, you know, and how often do you get to see your doctor, right, to actually talk about it. So providing a product that they can use to minimize that odor, but also minimize the discomfort they have at even bringing it up, and being proactive and being able to take care of it themselves.
Right.
It's really awesome. That's great. So tell us a little bit about, there was a little girl, I saw you post something. Does she have like a metabolic syndrome? I don't know if it was an inborn error issue or what it was. And now she can, you know, she's free of her odor. Tell us about that.
So when we launched in October, I received a message on Facebook from a mom who was really, I could just, the excitement and relief that she was feeling was really palpable, even in just the message that she sent me. And she has a little girl, her name is Marin, and she's now 6 years old. She was 5 years old at the time, and she was diagnosed with an organic acidemia, and her specific diagnosis is propionic acidemia. And she was one of only 2 individuals in the country. There's different types of metabolic acidemias, like trimethylaminuria, for instance, and other organic acidemias, where these individuals lack enzymes that allow them to digest amino acids and certain proteins. So what happens is these amino acids and proteins, they get down into the lower GI tract in conditions that are more common, like trimethylaminuria. Yeah, it's like a fishy odor syndrome. We've all learned about that in medical school. That's the more common type of metabolic acidemia. And what happens is those bacteria in the GI tract digest those amino acids, and you get trimethylamine, which is a fishy odor compound. The same thing was happening with this little girl, but not because her body was getting an excess of amino acids into her GI tract causing the odor, but because of her condition, she has to take an amino acid called L-carnitine in order to bypass this metabolic pathway that she was born with, which is defective. And the L-carnitine then is what causes the increase in trimethylamine, or this fishy odor. She's been included in, numerous evaluation case studies through the National Institutes of Health. Her family meets regularly with their pediatricians at the Denver Children's Hospital, and they have nothing to offer these families. And so the fishy odor comes as a result of them being healthy. The healthier they are, the more L-carnitine they need to take, which means the more odor they have. And it can be very socially isolating, as you can imagine. And so when Marin got into kindergarten, you know, her mom noticed things like that she was, you know, kids were saying, you know, can you go sit somewhere else? And ultimately it was a teacher. Yeah, it was very heartbreaking for them. And as a teacher, and then it was a teacher who actually said, you know, I'm pregnant and I'm really sensitive to smells right now. And I don't know if I can have Marin in my classroom. Where her mom really took a step back and thought, my goodness, do I homeschool her? Do I, you know, try and cover it up with perfumes? If we bathed her midday, what can we do? And none of those interventions really worked. And so I was so moved by it that we actually traveled to South Fork, Colorado, outside of Denver, about 3.5 hours outside of Denver. And we did a little docu-story on her and captured that remarkable journey of Marin starting in school and having that social, you know, challenges that came with the odor that she has as a result of her metabolic syndrome. And then with Lume, completely eliminating that body odor for her, making it completely undetectable. Like nobody, when you pick her up and hold her, you don't even have a sense at all that she's got anything going on. So she was able to get a do-over and start over at a new school where she's very well supported. And the school is outstanding. So I look at it like this, the story of Marin for me was so moving because it's the science that I use to create Lume, but I never imagined that she would be, or these individuals would be the ones who would necessarily benefit from it, because my understanding of the condition was that these odors were happening internally.
Right.
But I think the fact that Lume is working for them does tell you that there's an excess amount of that amino acid that then gets digested by bacteria that then leads to the odor. So the remedy is an external remedy, and she's,
I mean,
you know,
it's the product basically changed her life. I mean, that's amazing.
So
yeah,
I think that the product changed the trajectory of her life. Fortunately for Marin, being 5, she won't have a memory of a lot of these things that have happened. She was a little bit oblivious to what was going on that, you know, her mother was seeing, and it was her mom's heart that was broken more than Marin's.
Right.
So Marin will be spared of all of these challenges. And I am just, I feel very blessed to have been a part of that process for them, and to be able to offer individuals that have the most extreme forms of body odor an effective solution.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So I have seen a couple people comment too that they were, they thought it was helpful for the odor for people in ketosis on the ketogenic diet, which I thought was really interesting too. So it seems like there are a lot of opportunities for people to use this in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, the ketone process, if you think about it, amino acids are nitrogenous, nitrogen-based, along with all of these bodily fluids. And I think once again, it's a matter of these amino acids, or the breakdown metabolites of these amino acids that are being digested by bacteria and yielding odor. And so no other product on the market is getting down to that basic level. It's very exciting, and it's disruptive. I knew this was going to be an awesome product that would resonate with women. You know, when you say it's a product you can use anywhere on your body, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, you know, and it's something we can all relate to. But as the individuals that are trying it are coming out and saying, this has been life-changing for me, tells us that we're unlike any other product on the market today.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly, you know, stoked to be using it and stoked to be involved on the periphery. So that's great. So tell us a little bit before we go, because I know that you've got lists of things to do today. Tell us a little bit about the process that you went through from like idea to this, you know, really incredible business that you're building. How did you get there?
Well, I'd like to tell you that, you know, I had the idea, and then we got our patents, and then we formulated our product and we launched it. But the line was not straight. Yeah. It's an incredible challenge. I think first and foremost, you have to recognize an authentic void in the market where a need is not being met, or somehow if you could do something to improve upon the way something is currently being done. The first thing you need to do is contact a patent attorney and get an intellectual property search to make sure that you're really as original as you think you are. And then I think pursuing patent protection was the most challenging part of it. There is an attitude of there's nothing new out there, and everybody's already thought of everything, and it's impossible to do. So the fact that we were able to acquire 2 utility patents took us about 7 years of patent writing and revision. And so if you can endure that. And it takes dollars, it takes a lot of emotional strength to be able to endure that, because you will get rejected. But if you are believing in what you're doing and you get up and you rise and grind every day and you don't take no for an answer and you don't quit, you will prevail. So, but then the whole product formulation part of it, I had about 90% of it done. There were some things that you have to do in order to be shelf stable. So we had to recognize those necessary things in order to get shelf life claims and that type of thing. And then you're trying to find packaging, and I was really trying to keep it all made in the United States, which we were able to do. And that is not easy. And partnering with good people, and so you just, my advice to people would be, don't give up. Keep asking questions. Everybody has something to teach you, and just keep moving forward. Trust your gut.
I love that. Yeah, I'm going to take that to heart, because I have a lot of things that I want to do, and obviously it all takes time, and there is a certain amount of fear, for stepping out and doing something different. And so just sort of one step at a time, and kind of stay positive and do the work, and that's what we got to do. So
I
really
think one thing I would say, yes, I was going to say, very nice talking to you. I admire your courage in taking this on. I think what you're doing is great. To be able to say that you don't have fear. Fear is there, but it's the courage to really see past that. And,
it's just for me, it's like, I'm passionate about what I think that this company can do in terms of my wellness coaching, but also building programs around kind of integrated teams of proactive health and wellness. And so creating partnerships to make that happen around skin and around food and around weight and around fitness is super exciting. And it really, when it comes down to it, is that since I believe in what I'm doing, I'm just kind of throwing it out there and being vulnerable and seeing what happens.
Doing a good work.
It is what it is. So thank you for taking the time out of a very busy doctor, business, mom life. And I'm really excited to have your product in my Wholist life, and I'll keep drumming the drum for you. And please let us know here where we can find Lume to purchase, and how we can follow, you on social media, and then pop into the comments. And if you could put a link to Lume, and to a link to any of your social media handles, and then also a link to that documentary on Marin would be awesome.
That's great. I will do that. Yep. Thank you very much, Heather.
You're welcome. And as always, everyone, you can find Wholist Skin and Weight Programs at Wholist Health on all social media platforms, and at www.wholisthealth.com. And everybody have a wonderful Medical Monday, and we'll see each other soon. Thanks, Dr. Klingman.
Bye. You're welcome. Bye.